Don't be quiet. Okay. So today, as I mentioned in the last class, I will be covering just the basics of first unit. The reason behind this covering basics is because if I start directly the syllabus, okay, so you may not understand the unit number 1, which is basically starts with the operating point. Okay. So that's why I am going to give some basics of bipolar junction transistor. Even though you are already studying the bipolar junction transistor in basic electronics, however, you have not studied in depth basic electronics in first semester. But here, whatever it is required for the syllabus point of view, I am just covering those things. Probably today's class and Monday, 50% of your Monday's class will be covered basics. And later on, the bias, the stabilization and operating point will be our first unit. We'll start with it. Okay. So let's commence very fast. Okay, those who are not attended my class yesterday, I already mentioned this is going to be the textbook, which is Electronic Devices and Circuits, authored by Anil K. Maini and Varsha Agarwal. I hope this textbook will cover 100% your syllabus. No need to refer any local author textbooks or any other textbooks. Reason is the notations and few definitions will change if you refer to some other textbook. And hope if you don't write the same thing, the contents of this in the examination, you may lose marks. You got my point? Okay, always stick on to this book. This book is a very good book, and it's Indian written, and it's a flexible manner they are written. Okay, and of course any notes also I will circulate to you. Unit number 1 to 5 notes will be given to you as I complete it in the regular classes. And if you have any doubts, you can also keep on asking me through offline or online, wherever I am available. In fact, yesterday I don't know, one of my students got from long back, long distance, and she used my notes, and I don't know her before. Okay, she called me and she said that I referred to her electronic circuit notes in computer science branch, and she was impressed. And she was asking me to whether I am taking any subject for 5th semester, right now she is in 5th semester. I told her I am not going to handle any subject of 5th semester because I am from electronic, and so you are in computer science, and definitely I don't teach any subject related to computer science. Okay. That was the situation, you know. The notes is well written, and any comments are, positive comments or negative comments are always welcome. Okay. So those things you can even mail me. I given email ID in the notes itself. You are free, feel free to ask any kind of doubts to email us. Let's start with last class, whatever I mentioned it. We are starting from bipolar junction transistor. Shortly we call this as BJT. See, if anybody wants to make a noise or talk here, that's not entertained here. If you want to make a noise, really, you are allowed to go and okay. Do not disturb others. Okay. It will create, because whatever I am teaching here, the track may miss, and okay, I may not do it correctly. So that's why don't make noise. Bipolar junction transistor. How many of you know about the bipolar junction transistor? Have anybody seen this device, bipolar junction transistor, so far? I'm not saying with respect to textbooks. Physically, have you seen this? Okay, not seen this. So next week you are going to see in our laboratory. Okay, the size of the bipolar junction transistor. Whatever this physically you see in our laboratory, the bipolar junction transistor. Today they are not using. Yesterday I mentioned it already. Today what we are using is going to be the CMOS devices. Okay. So how do you define bipolar junction transistor? Any definitions you know? Clear your study. How do you define bipolar junction transistor? First of all, what is a transistor? Why this is going to be important for us to study here? Anybody can answer it. Do not hesitate, I am saying it. There is nothing like hesitation here. Feel free to ask any kind of. You can also comment on it. What is a transistor? Why you need transistor? And first of all, this particular transistor, you being information science students, why you want to study this? Okay. There is some significance about this, right? Without which the university would not have kept this particular topic to you. So basically, I would like to answer a few things here. Bipolar junction transistor is nothing but it's a device, a semiconductor device. I hope you understand what is semiconductor. I may not go once again to the physics to explain you what is semiconductor. Okay, the materials, whatever you see available, that can be classified as conductors, semiconductors, and as well as insulators. I will talk purely on semiconductor. Reason is that's one which is going to change. You know, that today whatever the electronic devices you see today, it may be the mobile phone, it may be the computer surrounding you. Okay, anybody you take it, either you know one or other kind of the electronic equipment they will have it. Any person, you take an example, including your watch, it's electronic, right? So, but the watch does not contain any bipolar junction transistor. Do not worry about it. Okay, the equipments like cellular phones and computers, those kind of devices, equipments contains the bipolar junction transistor. It's one of the key elements in the computer is bipolar junction transistor. Not today's computer, the very long back the computer which was developed, that was because of the bipolar junction transistors. So let me define what is BJT. Okay, so bipolar junction transistor is a 3-layer device. And it is going to be a 3-terminal device. Okay. It's a 3-layer device and 3-terminal device. You will come to later on what is this layers. Okay. Today you see bipolar junction transistor which is available in the form of integrated circuit. You are getting the point what is integrated circuit? Integrated chip. Okay. Small silicon package. That's what is integrated circuit. So this bipolar junction transistor is a 3-layer because inside that you will see the 3 different layers, semiconductor layers, which is made up of. And also you will see that it is made up of 3 terminals. What are those terminals? Could you name them? So aware of the basics of this. One of them is emitter, base, and collector. So these are the 3 different terminals. Each terminal has got its own significance. That's why they are named as this. Emitter, it will emit always electrons. Electrons will be emitted. Collector will collect electrons. One will keep on sending, other will keep on collecting. And what is the role of the base there? Which will control. Understand here? So to make this device useful, you must control. Without control, none of the electronic devices are not going to become useful. To take an example, on physics also. To take an example on different analogies also. You must have some control. Got it? Even you also have some control, right? Otherwise you would have not seated here. Control. Because you want to achieve some applications, you must control something. So what exactly you are controlling here? Electrons. Electrons will travel from the emitter and always it has to reach the collector. The reaching this you are going to control by this. This. How we are going to control and what are the properties controlling this? We will explain each one of them. Okay. So let us go to the 3 different layers of the transistors. Bipolar junction transistors can be either NPN. I am not going in depth to explain what is N type, what is P type again. Okay, I hope you are aware of this kind of semiconductor layers, N type semiconductor and P type semiconductors. So transistors can be BJT can be classified as NPN and as well as PNP. So these are the 2 types of transistors which you can make it, that's all. There is no other possibilities. Reason is, you see that these 3 different layers are going to be different, right? They are not going to make NNP, they cannot make the PPM like that. Okay. So this only possible combination is either it can be transistor BJT can be NPN or BJT can be PNP. There is no other combination at all. How this is going to, they are going to make, you can see here, the physical structure. I am just writing here 2-dimensional structure of the bipolar junction transistor, you can see here. The reason I have written the middle layer is going to be very thin. Okay, I will mention it later on reason why it is going to be very thin. And as usual, for each region we are going to attach the terminals here. Let us call this as a NPN transistor. Let's assume that this is going to be the N-type semiconductor, the middle one is going to be the P-type and last one is going to be the N-type semiconductor. And for each one of these layers, we are going to attach the terminals here. Let us say that this terminal is going to be the emitter terminal, which we indicate with uppercase E. Don't write any smaller case because these notations have some meanings. If you write small e, it will be different meaning. So that's why whatever notations you use it here, you also use it in your notes, same notations. Do not change the notations. And same way we have here the base, which is a control terminal, which we indicate with upper letter B, and the last one is going to be the collector. A simple definition, because definitions will keep on changing with respect to the BJT. The first definition what I given is 3-layer device, 3-terminal semiconductor device. Now definition will change little bit. I will go in advanced definition. So a bipolar junction transistor is a device, semiconductor device, where a p-type semiconductor layer is sandwiched between the two n-type semiconductor regions. Got some upgraded definition? Advanced definitions? Still you will get one more definitions like this. Okay. So this is going to be the, and here you can see that, as you see that this looks like a diode. You see diode inside that? What is a diode basically? A PN junction we call short. There is some relation between the PN junction and as well as this bipolar junction transistor. Right? Even there also you see two junctions. One junction actually is a diode, but here you see the two junctions, right? You can see here NP this forms a one diode, and this PN forms another diode. So can we link this? Can we take it as analogous this? So this basically bipolar junction transistor is analogous to the diode connected back to back, right? Okay. So how do you connect this here? If you look at this, I will mention it shortly. So this is nothing but NP like this, NP like this. I am just breaking this, right? Okay. So this is nothing but N side, this is nothing but P side, this is nothing but P side, this is nothing but N side. We just combine this middle P side, same as here. That becomes a base, and this is nothing but the base terminal, and this is going to be the emitter terminal. This is going to be the collector terminal. This is just an analogy. That's all. Do not ask me that if I have two diodes with me, can I make a transistor? Not possible. Understand here? And even in our the basic electronics, okay, you might have understood in such a way that, or you might have done in wrong interpretation also. Somebody would have thought that how do you make PN junction? Take a P-type, take N-type, join together, that makes a PN junction. Is it possible? Not at all. And how do they make the PN junctions? Doping, that's all. They will take the purely the silicon material, pure silicon. One side they dope it with P-type, other side they dope it with N-type. That becomes a junction. There is nothing like the take P-type, take N. Where do you take P-type and where do you take N-type? Take a silicon block available. Silicon is derived from the sand. Purest form of silicon. Take that and keep on doping it. Doping means what? Adding impurity, that's all here. Add the trivalent impurity that makes a P-type. Add pentavalent impurity that makes an N-type. You never find a junction there. It's very difficult to find out the junction in a PN junction or diode. Got it? There may be some interface where as it gradually move from P side to N side, number of holes may decrease. Similar things will happen when you move from N side to the P side. In the P side, obviously, majority charge carriers are the holes. Minority are going to be the electrons. Same thing in N side, the majority carriers are going to be the electrons. Minority are going to be the holes. As you move from P side to N side, the majority carriers, the holes, which will keep on decrease. And as you move from N side to the P side, the majority carriers, which are nothing but electrons, they keep on decrease. And somewhere you will have a junction where there is an equal number of electrons and as well as holes. Even that is not equal. If it is equal, what will happen? You will never get what is called as a cut-in voltage. Are you aware of that? There is a diode has got some built-in cut-in voltage, 0.7 volts per silicon transistor, and 0.3 volts per germanium transistor. How do you get voltage? If the charge carriers are equal, will you get any voltage? If 2 points have charges equal, never voltage, no potential difference, no voltage. So there must be some difference in the charges. Then only we will get this voltage. Almost the current flow is nothing but water flow only. Always water flow from upward to the downwards. Same thing. Charges also will flow from higher potential to lower potential. It cannot go reverse. People say if you have 1.5 volt cell with you, we say we lost the charge. Charge is completed. What do you mean by that? Potential has become equal. The P side has become equal to the number of charged particles, electrons, has become equal to number of poles. When there is no difference, where is the question of voltage? That becomes zero. You got the point here? So that's going to be the things. If I'm going, I will just restrict to my syllabus also. So this is going to be the way you can construct. You can take as BJT as analogous to the diode. If you have two diodes, that can be analogous to the transistor. You understand this one here? So junction between here you can see that there are three terminals as I mentioned already. One is emitter, base, and as well as collector. You can apply different kinds of voltages for these terminals. There is no restrictions. Voltage, you can apply positive voltage, you can apply negative voltage. But normally when you want to make this device as a useful device, as I told you that emitter will keep on emit the electrons and collector should collect the electrons whatever emitted by them, and that is controlled by the base. You got the point here? And whatever the junction between emitter and the base we call as emitter base junction. So in my convention I will use the notations like this, J for junction. Don't get confused. In my notes also I use the same notations also. But you may not find same notation in the textbook. They simply keep on writing the junction as it is. Okay? But for shortcut I am using the J as for junctions. If I indicate the J subscript like this EB, that meaning is it is a emitter based junction. Because in my notes to make it lengthy paragraphs, the shorter the notes, I use this kind of notations. Okay. Even you can also do the compression, such kind of things. But don't compress in the examination. Okay, you may lose the marks if you start compressing 40 pages to just 2 pages. Don't do that in examination. Just expand everything in examination. So JEB indicates the emitter based junction and JCB indicates the collector based junction. These two junctions are important for us. Okay. So whatever the voltage you apply here, okay, that voltage is called emitter base voltage. Got the point here? Normally you have to apply voltage across 2 points. No? Suppose if you apply voltage between this and this, positive here and negative here, this voltage we can call as emitter base voltage. If you apply voltage between the collector and the base, it is called as a collector base voltage. We will see that what kind of voltage will make this device useful. Got the point here? You cannot apply always positive here and positive here, positive negative or negative positive or both negative. There is some significance. You will see the operation of this NPN transistor. See, whatever I am explaining to the NPN transistor is also applied for PNP transistor. I am not explaining once again the operation of PNP transistor. Reason is, in this case I am explaining for the electrons because they are the majority charge carriers in the NPN transistor, and same thing in case of PNP transistor, the majority charge carriers are going to be the holes. You interpret it that way. If I am expanding for this for electrons, then obviously in case of PNP it is going to be for holes. However, this is going to be the things. Okay. If you look at briefly, the transistor was invented in 1947 by the two popular people. Bardeen is one of the person. Okay. Another person is going to be the Brattain. Just to give an information, that's all. There is no other significance here. 1947 it was invented by the Bell Telephone Laboratories of USA. Okay. Actually, in fact, if you look at the background of these two people, the physics people, Bardeen and Brattain. In fact, they don't know that before the invention of this BJT, they are not aware of this equipment is going to change the entire world. But later on, after 3 decades of the invention, this complete BJT has changed the world because almost all the devices which were using electronic systems which were using vacuum triodes, they started replacing with the bipolar junction transistors. I'll give reason here why the people migrated from vacuum tubes to the bipolar junction transistor. There are a few advantages out there. Among them, I can list out a few things. Why the people has migrated from vacuum tubes to the BJT. Few reasons actually. One of the reasons is going to be the BJTs are going to be smaller size. That's why you see today mobile phones very small. In upcoming days also we will see the electronic equipments becoming miniature in size, smaller in size. Smaller size. Because of the every component here is going to become smaller in size. You can accommodate more number of transistors. Right? Think about these people, this room. If you are going to be thin, I can accommodate more number of people here, right? Same thing is possible in integrated circuit also, because nowadays we are going to put transistors in integrated circuit. If individual transistor, if I can make it smaller, what's the advantage? I can put more number of transistors, right? You see today, I will imagine that Pentium 4, number of transistors in Pentium 4. Anybody can guess what is the number in Pentium 4? Which was coming long back, 8 to 9 years before. Almost 75 to 80 million transistors you can see in the Pentium 4. But what about today? Dual core processors, you know. Number of transistors, it is crossing billion. Okay, think about what size of the Pentium processors, dual core. The processor open and see any time. Few centimeters, not even meters. Few centimeters, that's all. A couple of centimeters, that's all. And think about that, it is holding 1.2 to 1.5 billion transistors. Can you imagine the size of each transistor? Anybody? It is 1,000 times less than the size of a human hair. Can you imagine? You have seen any time fabrication in any YouTube? I hope you always watch music or some movies. You never watch this kind of things. Have this experience. No? At least look at how the BJTs or integrated circuits are manufactured. You are never allowed to go inside straight away. They cannot be manufactured in open air first of all. Okay, in market or majestic. It will be in closed room, evacuated room. No, they maintain the neatness. In India, we never have such kind of neatness chambers where ICs are manufactured. Okay, because we give the levels for that, level 1, level 2, level 3. In India, whatever the fabrication houses have is level 40, more than that, not less than that. Got it? In developer countries like the Taiwan and Singapore, you will see the level 10 kind of chambers where you can see for every 10 centimeters square you can see one dust particle. Okay, you see the quality of neatness. Why such a neatness they are maintaining? You know that? Because one dust particle will kill thousands of transistors. Got the point here? So many logics you can implement, so many operations you can do it. If one dust particle sits on that, it will kill so many transistors. That's why they maintain such a neatness. And even water also, they cannot use ordinary tap water which you see in BB and PK. They use high grade or quality of water, which has got certain pH values. Okay. That's why, in a country like India, ours is not developed reason is, you see any developed countries, well they say their country has been developed, forget about IT. Okay. When they say country has developed country, we say US has developed country, reason is? Strong power? Lifespan. Not lifespan. How they become economically strong? See, if you look at the scenario, revenue, where they are going to generate, okay, number of fabos they have. You see Taiwan and Singapore, they have 5 to 10 fabos, richest country. Right? US, plenty of fabos they have. But in our India, we don't have fabos. We have old fabos, which was getting dust, which was announced in newspaper a few years before, which was for sale. Nobody has took that. So such a kind of, it's very difficult. I am not saying it is possible. It is not possible. It is very difficult to maintain it. Such a number of man. Even sometimes Intel will afraid of to open up new fabos. It's very difficult to maintain. Okay. The one thing is smaller size of BJT, lower weight, better efficiency. And no warm-up period, and lastly, lower operating voltages. So these are some of the advantages of BJTs over the vacuum tubes. Look at these advantages. Okay, it's not visible to you. Some of you who are not visible, you can come to the first page. I will repeat it. This is smaller size, Because as I told you that day by day electronic equipments are going to become miniature in size because of individual component size get decreased. Today's transistor size is few nanometers. Low weight, you can see that if the mobile phone is 2 kg or 3 kg, you will never purchase it. Right? Low weight because of they are going to make very much thinner individual components so that entire electronic system becomes very less in weight. Efficiency. You see the speed of operation. We normally measure if you take up any electronic device, we measure in terms of speed. Take out mobile. Switch on the phone, if it takes to 10 minutes to switch on, you will never purchase such kind of mobiles, right? You want speed of operation, more speed of operations. If you send a message, it must reach the destination, within a fraction of a second without even notice. That it should happen. Better efficiency. You are going to improve the current speed to the higher gigabytes kind of current speed in with better efficiency. No warm-up period. What do you mean by warm-up period? Starting. If you see the vacuum tubes, they used to get heated up before they get operated, right? It's very difficult in case of vacuum tubes. But BJTs are not like that. No warm-up period is required for them. Switch on, it will work, that's all. Just like mobile. Okay. But earlier the vacuum tubes, they built electronic devices, they take some time to switch on. That's a problem. Lower operating voltage is very, very important for us. Lower operating voltage. Why voltage is important for us, You keep charging your mobile, right? Now you see that you charge once, you can use for 2 days, 3 days, a week, sometimes on mobile phones. It's possible. The day will come. Charge one time, use 1 month. In future, it is possible. People are working in that scenario. Research is, more and more research is going on this. How to develop electronic devices with lower operating voltages. Electronic systems with lower operating voltages. A good research is going on there. You understand this after advantages? Any questions are there? Okay. Now let us look at major applications of this BJT. You understand this? Any questions are in this? Starting with definitions, type of transistors, invention, why we migrated from BJT, vacuum tubes to the BJT, and finally I am going to tell you the important applications of transistors. Where we use transistors? Yes, you know that it is used in computers, but what is actually the BJT is doing in a computer? This is a question rises, right? What is the role of BJT in a computer? What is the role of BJT in a mobile phones or cellular phones? Role is very simple. Either BJT will act like a switch or it will act like an amplifier. Are you aware of these two terms? Switch and amplifier. What is an amplifier? Any weak signal you apply, strength will be raised. You see now people can even receive signal from Mars. How it is possible? Because of amplifiers. We have different types of amplifiers are there. Audio amplifiers, video amplifiers, analog amplifiers, digital amplifiers. Amplifier itself is a vast topic. Okay, I am not taking too much time to explain about that. I will just give a definition. Amplifier is just a circuit. Whatever the weak signal you apply, maybe a few millivolts, it will make it in terms of volts. Got the point? This such C amplifier you are going to study in the laboratory. That's why I am not going to explain in depth here. You are going to see the circuit construction of common emitter amplifier in the laboratory. And you are going to simulate the same thing in the package also using the PSpice package, software package. So I am not going to discuss right now in depth about amplifiers. What about switch? Is these two things are required in any electronic systems? Yes, definitely. You take any electronic systems, either the BJT there, it may perform either amplifying action or it may perform either switch action. Now tell me, in what kind of electronic systems it is performing the switching actions? For what kind of electronic systems it is performing amplifying action? Do you know that your mobile phone performs amplification? True or false? Yes or no? Do you know that your mobile phone performs amplification? Okay. Why do you need amplification there? You are not aware of this amplification? Somebody will send the data, speaking. You are listening here. How it is possible in real time? All these possibilities, how it is possible? Media, channel, everything. Your information is coming from the channels. Variety of channels are there. Dedicated channels, wireless channels, wired channels. Information is coming. But when your mobile receives, your mobile phone has got amplifiers, without which you cannot even listen to the person who is speaking in other end. Amplifier must be there. You take up any electronic device. Example, in your home, the televisions. Without amplifier, it will not receive signals, right? Switch off your amplifier. Just cut the circuit of an amplifier, your TV will not work. Got the point here? Antenna will catch the signals and it will give first thing is where signal will come. It is coming from antenna. Straight away it goes to amplifier first. Otherwise, what will happen, you know? The broadcasting station, whatever is sending signals, your antenna may receive it. But if it does not give it to the amplifier, it may lose the signal. Got it? Once signal is lost, you will never see any video at all in your televisions, right? So everywhere amplifiers are required. Even same case, switch also performs an important function. Switch is nothing but just like mechanical switch here. You see that switch? Turn on and off. Why you want to do that? Control again. You want to control the fan. Otherwise, what will happen? Fan will keep on running. You will pay electricity bill. Got it? Point. You want to control that. How do you control it? Switch. Got it? Same thing in case of computers. Without switch, there is no computer. The transistors present in the computer, they will perform the action like switching actions. You know why the transistors are used as a switch in a computer? Why not use this kind of mechanical switches in a computer? Actually, if you look at the Charles Babbage who invented the computer, they started with that. So you see the invented the very first computer. How he started with? Same kind of switches. Now see how it has been migrated. Electronic switch, physical, mechanical switch. Which one is better? In what way? Simple analogy is if I ask you to switch on and switch off, okay, in 1 second, 1000 times, will you do it? Not possible. But electronic switch can do it. Okay, that's the reason of we are going for electronic switches. You know the importance here? In a second, million times you can make on and off. That is not possible in mechanical switches. The fast acting electronic switch is transistor. You got the point here? In this entire syllabus, electronic circuits, what you are going to study is the amplifiers or switches, nothing else. Got the point here? You will build a circuit which will work like a switch, or else you will build a circuit which will work like a amplifier, nothing else. The entire electronic subject deals with this. Got the point here? So other than this, nothing is there. Your goal is just either design a circuit, efficient circuit, which will perform as a switch, design efficient circuit, which will perform as a amplifier. Those are two important roles. With that basics, any questions are there? Okay, I'm just not going in depth. I'm just shrinking everything to your syllabus point of view. That's all, nothing else. So before that, let me tell you important characteristics of a transistor. Okay. Let me come to the basic point here. I think I have discussed NPN transistor and PNP transistor. Let me look at NPN transistor. Okay. I already showed the construction of NPN transistor. But now I am going to operate this NPN transistor using some voltages. Always, keep on practicing drawing these kind of, the structures multiple number of times. Don't be lazy so that you want to try again and again. Got the point here? You get practice. Okay. Maybe I will draw these things, the 1000 times in this semester. Keep drawing it. You get practice. Okay. So this is emitter, base, collector. Okay, this is going to be structure. Let's assume that this is going to be NPN transistor. Because always I cannot write structure like this because it's very difficult to draw the circuits if I have a structure like this. What may be the convenient way? Let us convert this into some electronic symbol. Okay, the symbol for this is going to be like this. So this is going to be the symbol collector, emitter, base. So this is going to be the NPN transistor symbol. The arrow mark indicates direction of conventional current flow when the emitter base junction is forward biased. Got the meaning? I repeat once again. So this is going to be the, let us name this as A as a structure of a NPN transistor, and let us label this as a B, which is the symbol of a NPN transistor. Okay. I'm again not going to the basics of this. Already we explained. It has got 3 layers and 2 junctions. We can apply either voltage across emitter and base. We can apply either voltage, collector and base. We'll come back to the operation later on, how we operate this. But before that, let us draw the symbols. So this is a symbolic representation of NPN transistor. Look at the arrow mark. Arrow mark is outgoing. That means conventional current, okay, keeps flowing outward. Okay, that means here the current is flowing is, that means emitter current. Look at the notations I used, uppercase both. Do not use smaller case, because in the 3rd chapter we are going to use both smaller case, that becomes AC current. There are 2 types of currents are there. One is AC current, other one is DC current. If I write both uppercase I and uppercase C, that becomes a DC current. We assume that no AC voltage is applied for this. Okay, so whatever the current coming here, base current, whatever current which is coming here, let us call this one as collector current. Do not worry about the directions of current right now. Got the point? Later on you will see in what way the current flows. You can analyze the current flow by Kirchhoff voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. Okay, you will see that later on how to apply those laws to this electronic circuits. So this is a symbolic. This arrow mark indicates the direction of conventional current flow when the emitter base junction is forward biased. You understand the meaning of forward bias? Forward bias means connecting N to the negative, P to the positive of terminal of a battery. That is called as a forward bias. Even though I have not applied voltage here, if you forward bias the emitter base junction, that means connecting here, this is going to be the NPN transistor, this becomes a P type, this is an N type, right? NPN transistor. If you connect here positive of a battery, connect here negative of a battery, it becomes forward bias. Then whatever the current flowing here, conventional current, that is called as, that's what the arrow mark indicates. Got the point here? So that's going to be for NPN transistor. Can write similar way for PNP transistor. Okay, so just I will replace it here. For a PNP transistor, terminals remain same. This is PNP. Same collector, emitter, collector and base terminals, 3 terminals remain same. But look at here, arrow mark will be just inward. It's a change. It's inward. Again the same meaning. Whatever I told the meaning of arrow mark for NPN transistor, same meaning applies here also. Arrow mark indicates direction of conventional current when emitter base junction is forward biased. Got the point here? Everything remains same. That's what will be the structure and the symbol of NPN and PNP transistors. There are 2 types of transistors as we said already, BJTs. One is NPN and other one is going to be the PNP. Among this, NPN is preferred. Reason is, as we already mentioned, that majority carriers are electrons here, majority carriers are holes here. Which one is better? Electrons are better always, because if you look at the physics, electrons move faster than the holes. Nearly the speed of electron is 10 times than the holes. Okay, you can even compare like 18-year guy and 80-year guy. Both of them will not at the same speed, right? So electrons are preferred. Because we want speed, right? That's why NPN transistors are preferred over the PNP transistor. You must give exact reason why we are preferring in today's scenario the NPN. Reason is only speed, nothing else. Got the point here? That's going to be the advantages of NPN over the PNP transistors. And even NPN can create high current density, faster switching times. Those 2 are the advantages of NPN transistors. So coming to the operation of this, I will just explain any transistors. You can operate it in 4 regions. Till this, if you have any doubt, you can ask me. I'll just summarize transistor operation and end this class. Transistor operation. Either NPN transistor or PNP transistors, operation remains same. As I mentioned already, in NPN transistor, electrons will flow. In PNP transistor, holes will flow. That's all. There is no other way. But look at here, the transistor can be operated in 4 regions. which I would like to mention in the quadrants like this. NPN transistor or PNP transistor. All of us know that this becomes a both positive here in the mathematics, positive negative here, negative positive here, negative negative. The reason why I indicated this negative positive is because in our case, in electronics point of view, positive indicates forward bias, negative indicates reverse bias. This quadrant will tell you the operation of NPN transistor or PNP transistor, how it is actually expanded. So transistor can be operated in 4 regions. The first one is going to be the positive, both are forward biased. With respect to what I am speaking, this is with respect to the transistor junctions. As already we know that if it is NPN or PNP, we can have 2 junctions here. One is emitter based junction, other one is collector based junction. Look at here. Here, both are forward biased. Emitter based junction, collector based junction, both are forward biased because positive notations are given. What about here? Emitter based junction is forward biased, collector based junction is reverse biased. Here, both are reverse biased. Emitter based junction reverse biased, collector based junction also reverse biased. What about here? Emitter based junction is reverse biased, collector based junction is forward biased. Is there any other possibility? All possibilities are covered here. Okay. So from this, how do you understand the operation of a transistor? Very simple. Okay. So normally here we have how many terminals? 3 terminals. Okay. Look at the first one. First, let us go start with this particular quadrant, 4th quadrant. Let us start with here. See the bias, type of bias. Emitter based junction, forward bias, collector based junction, reverse bias. How do you do that here? Emitter based junction, I must forward bias it. That means negative here of a battery, positive here. Forward bias. Collector based junction, reverse bias. N type, positive, negative. Thus becomes a ground. Got the point here? Now here in this kind of the operation here, okay, transistor will work like we call this region as an active region. One of the region of transistor operation is active region. When the transistor will be in active region, if you apply this kind of bias. Got the point here? If you want to make the transistor to operate in the active region, just what you do is apply this here. Forward bias the emitter based junction, reverse bias the collector based junction. Why this region is important? You know that? You will understand from the characteristics why this region is important. Because in this region, transistor can be used as an amplifier. One of the applications, right? I already mentioned it. Application of a transistor in the active region is amplifier. So in your TV, if the amplifier is there, that means it is operated in the active region. Otherwise, your TV will not perform the amplifying action. Amplifier will not come to the computer, right? You need any amplifier in the computer? It's not needed. Computer it must perform a switching action. Amplifying is not required there. Switch means on and off. Amplifier means given weak signal, it becomes output as largest signal, strong signal. To understand this one here, this one of the region of operation is active region, where emitter based junction is forward bias, collector based junction is reverse bias. If you do this, what is going to happen in the device? Emitter based junction. See the movement of charge carriers? Negative electrons, they will repel. Obviously, like charges will repel each other. No? Electrons, whatever present here, they keep on moving towards the junction, right? All electrons start journey like this now. Where they will go? This is P type. But see that doping also it is done in different manner. Emitter is heavily doped, collector is moderately doped, base is lightly doped. Lightly doped means less conductivity, less number of charges. Heavily doped means more number of charges, more conductivity. So emitter is doped heavily because this must supply the charge carriers. And collector must collect the charge carriers. Base must control it. I will give simple analogy for you. In leisure time, all of you go to the restroom, right? It's not. Yes or no? Yes. I will ask you. I will tell you after your, the leisure time. Settle in room number 208, say for example. What you will do? After the leisure time, I will tell you to settle in the room number 208. I will give some special gift for you. What you will do then? Some people will rush straight away to the 208. Since it's a leisure time, what you may do is, some people may go to the restroom, settle there itself. Who want this gift? You may argue with me, right? What gift he is going to give? Okay, you must rest there only. Or else some people may go there and come back. Possibilities are there. Is it possible or not? Same energy works out here also. Look at here. This is your room. After leisure time, room is here. This is your restroom. Now think about it. Nobody can settle here because there is no class after leisure time. You people have to move here, right? How will you move them? All of them need not go here. Some people may not come out, right? Because majority of people cannot settle here also. All I know 60 people you cannot settle in the restroom. No space there. Same thing here also. It is lightly though. No charge carriers. What do you do then? But come back here. Say for example, if 100% charge carriers are here, we will expect at least 90% will reach here. What about 10%? Set the case. They constitute the base current. Got the point here? I want to attract more here. I told him some gift. So you are not worried about it. I am not told the cost of the gift also. Maybe the 1 rupee, 2 rupees like that. So you are not interested here, right? 90% people are coming. How do you get more interest? Each candidate you may get 1000 rupees gift, I may say that. Then I may attract 100% people to 100. That's not possible at all. I am telling just simple analogy here. Got the point here? At least the 90% people electrons reach here. If I give here 100% charge carriers, 90% will contribute the collector current, rest of the 10% will contribute the base current. Got the point here? That's how the NPN transistor works. Based on this, you can write one mathematical equation also. What are the current going here? That is called as leakage current. So I can write mathematical expression based on the analogy. If it's a common base configuration, the collector current is given by. If it's a common base, alpha times IC or IE plus IC. What is it alpha? I told 90%. 90% I told. That's alpha factor there. Alpha amount of current charge carriers may reach here. Got it? But even this ICO is nothing but it is whatever the charge carriers crossing this. Okay, that's going to be the ICO, leakage current, crossing this junction. Okay. So together, whatever current coming here, some current may even constitute base current. That's not important for us. What I am thinking is, when I am in the collector, I want to collect all the charge carriers, but all charge carriers will not reach here. Including both the things, only 90% of the charge carriers will reach the collector. So this is going to be the mathematical expression for the collector current in the common base configuration. Same thing can be written for even common emitter also. IC is equal to beta IB plus IC, leakage current. That's the expression for collector current. In general, looking at this, we can also write expression for collector current as emitter current as. Have you got this expression? Apply Kirchhoff current law. Look at this. You treat this as a complete point, one point. Look at algebraic sum of the currents. How many currents are entering? How many currents are leaving? 2 currents entering, right? This is emitter current leaving here. In this case, this is a PNP transistor. And look at 2 currents entering. IB is entering, IC is entering. So this current is entering, this current is leaving. So what is Kirchhoff current law says? At a particular node, algebraic sum of the current should be equal to 0. You can consider outgoing currents as minus and incoming currents as a plus. That algebraic sum becomes 0. If you transfer this to here, it becomes a minus, right? That becomes 0. So it is very popular equation which we use it frequently in our subject. In upcoming chapters also we will use that equation, mathematical equation. And also this very popular equations we will use it in the upcoming classes. Let me end up this by completing this. You understood this active region?
Yes.
Where one of the junction is emitter based junction is forward biased, collector based junction is reverse biased. But normally we will not operate our transistor here. By default it will be here. Even though if you take a transistor, suddenly if you switch on, it will be here. Without applying any bias also. Sometimes if you make voltage 0 across emitter based junction and collector based junction, transistor will be here. But this is also called as reverse active region. If I indicate active region as AR, this is going to be reverse active region. You understand this? Normally the BJT, NPN or PNP will not operate in RAR.